quite like the Voice of War home system. 5 planets, but only 2 of them you can spawn on.
Yeah. Makes for dynamic sort of early mid-game transitions to stay on the planet or to move off.
Yeah, early game you don't have much choices because there's only 2 planets, but you know, as soon as you start going into the orbital layer, you have a lot of options, don't you?
Yes. So you've got to the possibilities of spawning on Verst. Then you've got Ocean, which is not
spawnable.
spawnable.
Pings coming out.
Asteroid and Mond. However, Mond is spawnable. Finally,
big ping coming out from Orange there, in one of the nice places on the moon. The areas are pretty dense on the moon.
Yeah. I mean, the moon is quite a nice biome to play on as well, because there's pretty much no obstructions, really, is there? As well, so... But, yeah, it looks like burning... I don't know. Because there's an interesting sort of dynamic here, because if you win Mond, you get a planet with engines. But if you don't win Mond and you leg it to the other planet, you can lock down Asteroid, which is a smaller moon, and you can then pilot that. But at the same time, you have the metal planet with the Annihilator possibility, and the gas giant with all of that eco that you can get up.
Well, the thing is, because Mond is the starting planet, it's not really one you want to smash, because you're going to lose all of the eco you've built on it up until that moment.
Well, that also depends on how the late game goes. Right? If you get into stalemates and the only way you're going to win is with this planet smash, it doesn't matter about your eco as long as you win, right?
Well, there is that.
But you do sort of need accurate planet smashes rather than some of the planet smashes we've seen in the past.
Yeah. Here we go. Hello and welcome everybody. I'm X, and we are here with the final setup of Clan Wars Season 1 presented by ExodusEsports.com. I'm X, and I'm joined here by Marshall.
Hello there. And again, it's Burning versus Voices of War, Voices of War's home system. And it looks as though we've got 2 players spawned on each of Mond and Verst there. So we're going to have lots of 2v2s going on.
Yeah, so we've got the 2v2s going on. It's not too uncommon to see 2v2 to spread out the players evenly between these planets, and that's what we're going to see now. We typically see a lot of action on Mond, the moon, because they are so close quarters. There's going to be a lot of action early on, but we will obviously still see some action from that desert planet.
Yes, and lots of docks coming out already for the Voices of War players on the moon, having gone double bots on their northern spawn and bot and air to the sort of south spawn there, but they're either side of the Burning players, so the Burning players, they can expand together and sort of combine their forces in defense, but at the same time they can then, if they manage to defend heavily enough, they can then combine their forces into one assault and then take out each player in turn, because the Voices of War players are not spawned together and will have a much more difficult time to reinforce each other.
It's always very difficult. We're on such a small scale here. Just a couple of units in the right places can really work wonders and do a lot of damage. And it looks like we're going for a lot of bots from Voices of War. I kind of tend towards bots because they're so fast and aggressive. And you can obviously pull out those boom bots and do some very aggressive commander attacks. But we're seeing Burning go for some tanks and some walls as well. So they're going for a little bit more of a softly approach.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what to say about this. Like, looking up in their queues, they've got tons of tanks queued up already, and double wall strats incoming. I can see it in the queues already. But the combat fabbers, because they can now build walls, it's going to be quite good for them as long as they can keep up the eco to do that. Because I think combat fabbers use quite a bit compared to regular fabbers, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to remember, these walls cost 25 metal each. That's like really not a small amount once you start adding it up.
Especially now that, you know, docks are beginning to kite the Infernos, and that's really not where you want to be. Plus, the Voices of War commander is right on the front lines, effectively, there with the factories. They're pretty much within spitting distance of each other while building each other's factories.
They're both ludicrously close right now. I'm amazed these walls have even got built. They're now going to get shut down. The commanders are almost in shooting range. It's mad how close they are without going into a full-scale confrontation. We see a Pelter actually going up in the back of Voices of War's base. That's really unusual.
That should have range, actually, especially
Oh,
considering
definitely.
they're going to anticipate Burning's commander moving forward to do some comboxing, as he is doing now.
Yeah.
And now that the pelter's up, that can focus down that commander over time and really do a lot of damage and could sway this in Voices of War's favour.
Yeah, with the walls going up as well, it's going to be hard to actually try and take out that pelter, and more walls going up behind that turret as well. It's going to make it hard to rush with units, so that pelter will really pay dividends now that it's just going to continue bombarding that orange base.
Yeah, and that's going to be a real issue for that Burning player to deal with. And the thing is now, that Voices of War's aggressive play seems to have turned that Burning player into something of a turtle, rather than expanding to his buddy on the other side of the planet, who's now in his own 1v1 engagement with the other Voices of War player on this side, who's got quite a lot of vehicle factories, actually, plus 2 air factories, and he's managing to defend himself reasonably well as well.
Yeah, contesting all the metal on the opposite side of the planet as well. And it looks like he's in control of blue. Blue seems to be really in control of the moon right now. I'm going to switch views just so we can take a little look over at the desert planet. And orange really has taken very little map control on this desert planet. It's not looking too hot for them. Whereas Voices of War has managed to expand a little bit and being a bit more aggressive.
Burning have managed to do a good bit of scouting, though. Earlier on in the game I did see pings going off as to where the spawns were, so they know pretty much where they are and what their builds are. But there, as you say, there's quite a lot of mechs that's unclaimed or has been raided by Voices of War, and really good moves there to do that. Because looking at Burning now, they are stalling, and given how close quarters the moon is right now, they do not want to be stalling their eco. Well, either team, really, to be honest. But it's really not looking good for them, especially looking over here as lots of tanks begin to converge.
So over at the South Pole, Burning player is actually being nice and aggressive and seems to be actually making ground back on the south, creeping forwards with the commander and a whole load of units behind him. It seems to be working pretty well for him, but coming under so much pressure from this base. Voices of War player just continually bombarding. Some of the factories are going down, a lot of the units have been lost. Counterattack coming in from Team Burning though, moving these units over, taking a couple pot shots from the north side as those tanks get some damage in there and losing some of their forces. It looks like that little attack probably won't be able to do anything.
Yeah, unfortunately not. But, I mean, it's going to do a little bit of damage over here. But, again, it's not something that they can't rebuild in a very short space of time, and the commander now being forced to go over and do something about it. Factory does go down. As long as they stay on the other side of that wreckage, though, they can conserve their numbers and get away before the commander is in line of sight. And they can do damage to him as well over time.
Good work from Orange. Over on the desert planet, they managed to start taking a little bit of a bastion of defense, getting up some turrets and defenses there to protect those mechs. Very important for them to get some eco. They are behind on metal right now, but beginning to win the confrontations they're getting into. Still losing in that main base that initially got attacked, but winning on the other base. They took down a pelter there that was being built by blue. I think that was the wrong time to build a pelter. They just didn't have enough time for that pelter to pay off and be defensive for them. And right now, Orange is fighting back, and if they win this other blue base, then it doesn't matter they've lost that first one, and they'll actually be in good shape to still control the moon.
I mean, it's interesting because there's lots of pelters now from Voices of War, lots of them, so I think that base is going to be pretty well defended against tanks, certainly for the time being.
Oh, one of them goes down there, so they do only have 2 left. Some counter pelting actually coming up from Burning here.
Yeah, a few Infernos coming in as well. Doc's getting a little bit too close. They're going to get chewed up, but the Inferno does go down. They can all move in and take out the Fabricator and the Inferno now as well, because the commander's on the other side of the base. But they do need to go and do that, and that's going to secure them that ground. And what they can do as well is they can move in behind and take some of the mechs. Because something I've noticed that Voices of War are doing on Desert Planet as well is they're doing a lot of expansion. There's a lot of mechs going up, and we can see in the Eco tab there, 372 versus 305, that they are stalling a little bit there.
Yeah, Orange is under a lot of pressure on the desert planet. They have very little map control at all. The one thing I've noticed they're doing on both planets is very aggressive commander moves with walls to protect them, and it's working out pretty well. They're defending using commanders and walls at the moment, and holding on the desert planet at least, and being very aggressive. Currently run over that base now. That base is basically gone. There's no defenses there. One of the blue commanders is actually moving to meet up with his buddy over here as he tries to hurt this base here. It's pretty interesting situations. These two commanders who have both lost their bases are now going to get into a little fisticuffs fight.
Yeah, Another
Unfortunately,
one.
he's building walls in the crater though, which probably will not block any shots at all.
Yeah, you want the high
to
ground.
block the Uber cannon, but that's about it. But his height range there is just not ideal.
Yeah, he needs to get out of that crater as soon as he possibly can, because he's taking a lot of damage now, down to 75%, while the other commander has taken very little damage at all, and it's mainly the wall that's taken all the beat.
At all, does he?
No.
Very, very bad. Unfortunately, he didn't notice. And
he has got
now
some grenadiers
coming towards attack him. He needs to retreat here. This is very, very dangerous for him. And we've just seen a whole load of metal get lost by Orange.
Oh my goodness, looking at Blue's base there, Orange's commander. This is just migration of the commanders over here on the moon. This is ridiculous. What's going on?
Oh no, Blue Bot's coming in from the north side. Very, very risky here.
Oh no!
They're going to go for
the Uber cannon! Oh, wow.
It does stop a lot of them, still sitting on 40%, highly vulnerable.
That was very close indeed, although he is now down, as you say, below 40%, taking out that pelter, but he is going to walk straight into a turret. He really doesn't want to do that, considering there's commander right on the horizon over there, down below 30 there. Wow, this is incredibly... I don't actually recall seeing anything like this in Clan Wars before, but now the Boombot's coming out from Orange as well, trying to catch Voices of War's commander out in the open. Oh dear. This could turn hairy.
Intense fight as we see units coming in from the right-hand side. Coming in against this commander, already sitting on 60%. Uber cannon comes off. He's also getting chased down by another commander though, so he still needs to keep walking. Tanks end up retreating there. Commander goes down to 40%, but they can't quite finish him. Some more reinforcements coming in from their units. Commander here probably ought to retreat. He doesn't really want to get into this fight now that he's outnumbered by units, and he's going to pull back as well. So a little bit of exchange of fire, but not taking them down quite yet.
What's really bad news is that on this moon, all they're doing is giving and taking commanders and units. Whereas over on the desert planet, let me ping it for you, we have a massive move into one of the orange bases, and they're actually going to, I suspect, lose quite a lot of this base here. They have managed to put up an orbital launcher, and they're trying to build an Astraeus transport, probably to get that commander away. But they're going to lose a lot of production power there, and a bit of eco as well. So that means they're not going to be able to use that as a reinforcement staging point, and Voices of War are going to claim even more ground there.
Yeah, we do see that Astraeus picking up the commander, so he's going to try and get out. See some aggressive moves from Orange still coming in with the commander there. Been very aggressive with that commander, which I like the idea of. But let's take a little look around, like, orbital. Have they gone anywhere yet? There's no one on Ocean.
No, that's the first commander.
There's no one on Meadow. I don't think we've seen any orbital action apart from that one Astraeus orbital transport now.
Yeah, and he's going over to Ocean. So he's going to be grabbing that. It's quite an easy planet to lock down, actually. It's quite small. You can get a lot of air over there. And transporting, once you've locked down the island, is going to be really, really tricky, because teleports as well. You don't have naval teleports, so it's going to be really, really tricky.
It does make it much more awkward.
But now both Orange commanders on the moon converging on one of the Voices of War's bases there. So
they need to get rid of that once and for all, don't they? Just get rid of those factories, reclaim some of this metal, which is what they're already actually doing right now, because they do desperately need that metal. But they're behind in eco by a significant amount right now. Yeah.
It's also just taking out a nuisance, right? Because those factories there, they'll produce the odd unit that may take out any number of units. But this is really interesting on the moon, because what we originally had was a sandwiched Orange player, and now they've migrated to the extent that they're now sort of together on their own on the other side. So we've now ended up with, even Stevens. But we've got a large assault force moving in on the original base there from Blue, and I'm not sure that the Orange team have the ability to defend against this adequately.
Yeah, that's not good for them. Let's take a little look at that on the main camera. Coming into the main base, decent amount of tanks. Some more reinforcements coming in behind as well. Not really enough to stop them here. Sending in some of their reinforcements from the other base, but it's going to be difficult. They're going to lose at least a little bit here. Also going into the orbital layer now from Voice of War. They have their deep space radar up. They have the orbital launcher up. One of the commanders from Burning has already been set off and is on his way. I think one of the commanders actually died on the desert planet. One of them did manage to escape, and it looks like, even though they did some great counterattacks on the desert planet, managing to hit some of the southern base, destroying some of the metal infrastructure and some of the production, I think they've lost it on this planet now, because they just have no units there to actually defend.
Yeah, it's really not looking great for Burning whichever way you look at it, but they are moving on to the other planets. But the thing is now, it's not a case of moving on to the other planets, it's fleeing to the other planets to start afresh. And when you do that, you give your opponent time to maybe tech up to T2
Yeah.
and to chase you, and at that point they're already established, whereas you have to do the re-establishing, and it becomes a much more uphill struggle, and really,
Yeah.
really tricky for them. But
Far more difficult.
Yeah.
But we've seen some weird things happen once we get to the orbital stage where people manage
Yeah.
to make some comebacks. We do see Burning has now landed one of their commanders on the ocean planet, landed it in the water. Commander there is going to start building up and getting some eco for his team. There's a lot of metal in the water. So there's a lot of metal that they need right now that they could be getting.
Yeah, they're going to want to start with a little bit of power, but they're going for the air factory as well, so the greater mobility of the air fabricators, I think, is going to do better for them here rather than naval fabricators. Plus, of course, it'll be easier to lock down from the air layer. I hope they move on to the island as soon as possible, though, because if they want to prevent people chasing them, then that's where they're going to want to be.
I think one thing that we really need to concentrate on now from Voices of War is they need to finish off these bases, because at the moment the infrastructure's still here and they're still there and there's still metal that can't be captured by Voices of War, and they're giving them time and resources to be able to come back, and it's really important that they just get them off this planet and own it to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a clean-up operation now, really, to be honest. But the difference is, over here, there's still a couple of commanders on Mond. But again, as you say, on Versta, that's a lot of metal once they clear it up. Plus, you know, it just narrows it down.
Teleporter.
Yeah.
Teleporter now on the moon. They can afford to send all their units there, so it doesn't really matter so much about the desert planet. It's quite important they do win the moon, though. And although there's a lot of units from Burning here, they're now going to get outnumbered as more and more reinforcements start coming through. And there's also some boombots here. And there's enough boombots there easily to snipe both commanders, or at least one of them.
Yeah, definitely. And because they're stationed around a few units, those units will also go down as well if one of those commanders does end up popping. But they do need the intel. The Voices of War lately have not been scouting very much. But once they start moving
Voices of War are sending out those orbital fabbers. They are trying to control the rest of the orbital layer, as well as controlling these planets they've been fighting over for a long time. And now they look like they begin to make progress on the moon as they move forwards with just enough tanks to exchange forces here. I think they'll come out with a few extra, but they should have more reinforcements coming in soon. Of course, the boombots can always follow in after these tanks as well.
The teleporter's actually powered down for some reason.
Building another teleporter. Looks like they're going to try and escape with both their commanders. I think they should be able to make it, but really got to ask themselves where they're getting their eco from right now to make the comeback. Voice of War has just landed on asteroid.
Yep.
The 3 Halley moon. Their units there, they should be pretty secure.
They're also on the
They've
metal
also
planet.
landed on Metal Planet, yep. So there's a tiny bit of eco there, and importantly, the laser.
The only bit of eco Orange are getting that's not on these two planets is on the north pole of the gas giant. And we all know how volatile jigs are, so if they... Oh no, there's a... yeah, Voices of War just landed a fabricator over there. Oh no, they're moving it away. Interesting.
And that teleporter's just finished on the ocean planet, and this is bad news. This was the one place Burning didn't want them to get. They need to get in here, build all these mechs so that they can actually increase their eco and start making a comeback. And having this happen right now, right here, is just the sort of disruption they really did not need.
Yeah, and that anchor is going to seal the deal as well. Not only is it a beast against the orbital layer, but it's also going to be a real nuisance against things trying to control the island. This air fabricator over here is going to get absolutely devastated. And building an umbrella as well, that's a lot of resources to invest, while you've got ground forces that'll just destroy it in an instant.
Yeah, I think they've got to try and counter the anchor in some way, but obviously those ground forces can just shoot it. The anchor's finished, and it looks like umbrella's out of range. Nice.
Ooh, we do have two commanders over here from the moon, but of course they are both weak. 37% and 47% respectively. And as soon as Voices of War realise that both commanders are there, they'll probably send a concerted effort through that teleporter to go and deal with it.
Yeah, some orbital radar, some engineers with some radar. They need more intel. That's their weak point right now. Sure.
Meanwhile, on Mond, though, Burning have actually managed to build up their forces again and pushing Voices of War back to the extent that they can't push in just yet because they don't have the numerical advantage.
But they've allowed them to rebuild all of these factories just here, right where they'd initially lost them, and that production is going to be absolutely killer, because Voice of War is sitting on 660 medal income right now. They can afford to really spam out as many units as they can. Whole load of bombers have just destroyed all of the forces there. There's some anti-air in the mix.
Oh, wow.
They may have lost some of their bombers, but they just lost 2/3 of that rather large force and can now be mopped up very easily.
Oh, in come the booms.
Booms incoming? No, the booms aren't moving yet.
They were nudged. They were nudged.
They were nudged. They were getting ready to move. Someone was itching to use them. Now we do see that the desert planet has been fully taken over. Now it's completely under the control of Voices of War. That's going to increase their income and put Burning in a bit more of a hole. All the units now moving on the moon. They smell blood. There's a couple of boombots there getting ready to move as well. And these units are going to move in. I think they just, at this point, you want to go straight into other forces, exchange forces 1 for 1, and both of you end up with no units, and then you can keep sending in more of your reinforcements that keep coming in.
Mm. I mean, at this point, there really isn't very much that Burning can do to pull this back, because Voices of War has a presence on every planet. Burning have a presence on the North Pole of Gas, which is possibly about to go down, considering there's 2 Avengers there. If they target those jigs, then explosions will happen. But they have ocean, and that's pretty much it. And even there, they don't have anywhere near a comparable level of eco. And wherever they flee to, if they get knocked back...
Wow, there's a lot of units on ocean.
Yeah. So the island is a no-go zone, and as long as Voices of War start moving into naval, they will absolutely dominate Burning, because they can get up naval a lot faster than Burning can, simply because of their eco right now. And of course, there's nowhere for Burning to run to.
Voices of War are really colonising all the planets right now. You can tell they haven't managed to build everything they can, because they're concentrating on so many different battles across so many different arenas right now. We do see a little attack fended off from some orbital fighters on the gas giant. Good work from Burning. They're in a hole, but they're trying to do everything they can, trying to get whatever eco is available in this system, because that's their bottleneck that's really putting them under trouble. All the units coming in at the south now on the Mond moon, and that is really bad news.
Yeah, that's
really
going to
be the second starter planet now that's been completely run over, and everything they started with is now gone for Team Burning.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for them, but it does mean now that they can focus on Ocean, and well, they have to take Ocean. If they cannot fight Voices of War off Ocean, then it's GG. Because they can't even think about going to another planet now, because they're too far behind to even think about fleeing through orbit, because that would just make the GG even more capitalized, as it were.
Taking a look around. Where are we on now? Ocean is the only place, right?
Yep. Ocean is the only place.
1 anchor. I wish we had kill counts, because this anchor's probably killed a lot of units. This one that's just been sitting here over their base for a very long time.
Oh, you mean on Verst?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know, it doesn't look like there's too many child remains on the floor.
They've been shooting down a lot of fighters and stuff though.
Oh, yeah. Just the odd one that just happens to go past. But now on Ocean, Burning again, popping up an orbital launcher. They really can't move into orbit right now. Although, at the same time, having said that, it would make sense to try at least contesting another planet, because otherwise they're just going to destine themselves to a planet smasher or an annihilator or a nuke of some description. Because the longer they sit there, yes, you have a planet, but, you know, planets can be annihilated, right? So...
We see some counter umbrellas going up from Voices of War, shooting down these anchors that were being built by Burning on Ocean.
Yeah, that's a real nuisance.
Even got a couple of naval units in the mix here, building up their mechs all over the planet. A couple of anti-air as well. These 2 commanders are relatively safe in the water. Little bombers come out. Shooting down the airfab is good work as well from Burning. Voices of War over 1,000 eco. Burning have managed to recapture their eco up to 400 right now. That's actually not too bad.
It's not too bad, but they don't have ground production. They're only air and naval right now. So even if they do move on to another planet, they don't have any immediate reinforcements to help them out.
Yeah.
So they're they're in the bottom of a hole that's also filled up with a little bit of treacle, so it's a rather sticky situation.
Wow, you went there.
I went there. At least I didn't mention any scones. Let's just put it that way.
Is that how bad it's going to get?
Quite possibly.
So I'm going to keep an eye on the asteroid, because I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a smash. It takes 3 Halleys.
Only 3
20k medal.
Have we seen much T2 yet, though? It's only just beginning to come out on Verst with.
And I think that's why we're still only at 1,000 medal income. They've not been building much T2 at all. They haven't needed to. They have so much map control with their Tech 1, they haven't really needed to.
Yeah. But they have got T2 now. Oh, T2 Air on the Metal Planet. I think they're going for an Annihilator.
It may well be.
That's a lot of air fabbers on the Metal Planet. Oh my goodness gracious.
Not a huge amount. There's a solid amount of T1 fabbers, but you could definitely do with easily 2 or 3 times as many when you really want to power out a Metal Planet.
Oh yeah, no, but of course. But those will now assist out the fabricators that come out from the T2 Air is what I was more getting at.
Yeah, no, you're right. You'll be able to pump out a lot of T2 air fabbers very quickly with those. Up a whole load of build power and actually build that Metal Planet laser very quickly. They are working on T2 Eco on the Metal Planet as well. Every little bit helps.
And it does. And their Eco is probably going to start flying ahead as they... Well, I say even more ahead, rather.
So a lot of the if we look over at the gas giant, a lot of the income, that is where Burning has been getting their income right now. And a whole load of fighters.
Oh, that's a chain reaction waiting to happen. There it goes.
And a fourth and a fifth chain reaction.
Oh, ouch! For want of a better word.
Now, at this point, could they attack? The jigs don't destroy the
jigs
anymore, do they?
Jigs do more damage to buildings. They do a little bit of damage to fighters, but not as much. So they're probably, well, with any luck, just going to bypass that factory because of how beefy it is.
Oh, good job there. So they intentionally focused there on the orbital fabbers. Very important to not let those orbital fabbers get away. Another 2 managed to sneak in out from orbit and kill the last orbital fabber. That's really important. You don't want them rebuilding defenses or rebuilding anchors as defensive turrets. Good work there from Voice of War. Taking down that last bit of income is what Burning needs to tip them over the edge.
Yeah, they are really that was such bad news for them as they now are.
That was half of their income gone just right there.
Yeah, they lost about 200 mechs in that. They dropped from about 500 to 370.
No, they were over 600. They lost almost 300 there, so that was that was a lot lost.
And they also lost probably
over
about
on the Ocean
20k.
Planet, we see some advanced torpedo launchers going up to defend against the naval units that are there, and now going with advanced radar, Hulkins, some flak there, getting very defensive. Lots of T2 defenses ready to start pushing forwards and trying to assault the Ocean Planet.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we started to see slammers, because of course they can shoot while in water. Yeah, so they can shoot.
There's a lot of bombers though. A lot of bombers from Team Burning actually would be able to counter that right now.
Ooh, and we see Phoenix coming out from Team Burning. Very nice. These are the advanced air fighters that can go in between planets now.
Yeah, that's certainly something they're going to want to send to Asteroid, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
All these bombers that are being built here are bad news. They're going to counter the slammers. They can potentially counter the Hulkins. The torpedo launchers now firing. Incredible fire rate on them, and they tend to destroy everything with their huge flurry of missiles that they send out now into a full retreat for Burning. Can't really engage there. They could come around the island, come in from a different angle.
I don't know. It's looking pretty dire, I must admit. I know I'm sounding rather defeatist here, but I'm really not sure I see something that Burning can do to pull this out of the bag.
They are going for T2 Naval on the Ocean Planet. About halfway through that. That will help, but I don't know. It'll help them win the battle, but not the war, won't it?
Yeah.
It'll help them win the Ocean Planet, but it certainly won't help them win the war.
And a cheeky anchor went up there.
Sneak in some anchors there. That is surprising. I think, did they lose their air fabbers, or did they pull them out? No, they just lost their air fabbers. But they did manage to build some anchors. Some more coming in here. orbital radar there now. A whole load of reinforcements coming in from the orbital layer. A lot of orbital fabbers and a lot of orbital fighters as well. Command under attack, looks like from some SSX? No, the Hawkins here focusing down the commander, and that is bad news. Also pinged by Voice of War, they see it. Hawkins misses on that shot. Commander now moving will make it a little bit more difficult, but it's very, very close. The Hawkins may be able to finish it here. Trying to repair the commander with those engineers. A lot of engineers. He's sitting on 14%, going to get repaired, but they don't have too much eco to repair him. Slowly repairing him up towards 20% now. Oh, Hawkins fire comes in, going to destroy all those engineers. And commander going to keep moving.
Oh, they have 3 commanders here. Whoops, I was miscounted. I thought they had 2 commanders. Whoops. I was looking at the wrong commander.
So at this stage, we also see T2F actually coming up from Voices of War on the Ocean Planet. I think this is a really good idea, not only for the build pad, but obviously for the T2Air could be really useful at this stage.
Kestrels are pretty good, from what I hear. Whether that's the PTE or live currently, Kestrels are apparently a thing you want to be building, because apparently they take multiple flak shots to kill. Which is beastly, as far as I'm concerned. Because, yeah, you can take down a ton of bumblebees, but if you can't defend against Kestrels as well, then GG's.
So, looking at the eco right now, it's getting close to 10 times. T2F was going up from Voices of War, trying to rebuild on... Let's see what they're going to go build here. They're going for some more Hawkins. Hawkins on every side. I think at this stage they really need to be finishing it. Like a nuke, SSX. Feel like they're going a bit too slowly at this stage. Like repeatedly building more and more Hawkins.
Ah, this is what's going on. We have a planet smash in the works on asteroid. First engine going up.
They have finally started it. I think they could have definitely started that a decent bit earlier.
Yes. That's going to absolutely destroy Ocean. I think it will be a mutual annihilation because the planets are comparable sizes, so I think we'll see an utter annihilation in this instance. Which should be fun, because we don't tend to see too many planet smashes in Clan Wars.
Nope. Always good to see a planet smash. First Halley nearly complete there. 2 more to go. Yep.
Keep that in the picture-in-picture, and they have actually queued up... Well, they've queued up 1 other Halley. They haven't queued up the 3rd yet. Never mind. There they go. They've just started it. Ping's going off, saying, "Oi, look, there's a Hawkins over there in the water. Let's try and deal with it." Oh, wow.
That was a nuke straight in on commander. Down he goes. 2 remaining. Both of them able to be sniped by a nuke, as they are...
I don't think that was a nuke. There was only 1 nuclear explosion. No, that was just a commander explosion, so I imagine that was a Hawkins shot or something.
Yeah, I'm going to go through Chronocam. I need to find out. Oh, my Chronocam's broke. I'm not going to go through Chronocam at all.
But yeah, there was only 1 nuke explosion there, so it wasn't a nuke. I imagine it was the Hawkins.
Maybe an SSX or something. I don't know.
No, there's none around.
Oh, SSX. Okay. It might have been Hawkins, wouldn't it? Probably Hawkins.
But now the anchors from the blue team encroaching on the orange base as well.
Yeah, they're building anchors all over the place. So what I tend to do is grab a whole load of orbital fabbers and put them in one area, but they've actually split up all of their orbital fabbers and just building lots of these anchors all over the place, which is kind of more of a nightmare to deal with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Particularly when you're behind like this and you don't have immediate response forces to deal with it. All they've got really is building these umbrellas in the middle of the base.
It boxes you in a lot faster as well.
Yeah.
But, the final engine is pretty much complete now over on Asteroid. Yep. So we will see that activate pretty soon, and well, they will still have a little bit of time to go around the sun, of course, but the engine's all now completed. Scouting goes off with the air pinging there, saying that is the destination we want to target, and the moon is on its way. 'Tis but a
Moon
matter
is
of
activated. Way now, flying through the system.
time. Oh yes.
Quite a few SSX which are on the way.
It's just a matter of time now as it goes around the sun. I'm really don't think anything Orange can do about this.
Is looking like he wants to escape here.
Yeah,
See you guys
blimey.
later. I've got a plan, guys.
I must go. My people need me. But of course, he is now so snipeable from the orbital air. Oh, he gets off! He gets
dear.
off!
What's he doing? What's he doing now? At what point did he sit down and say, you know what, this is a good idea. What I'm doing is a good idea.
I don't even know where he's going. And to be honest, I don't think there's anything he can feasibly do. That's the moon now. Final approach.
Ooh, a whole load of SSX just landed on the ocean planet.
Ah. So they
Whole
are
load.
beginning to move in, and they have a really nice effect now. So if
Wow,
they
they're
get to...
moving really fast.
Yeah.
Their speed is definitely quite considerable right now.
SXX are pretty darn powerful now, and their effect as well is utterly glorious. In fact, the moon has actually been stopped for... Well, the asteroid, rather, has not been continued to smash. That has been deactivated. Looks like they're trying to SXX snipe the commander.
Well, they're going to, so there's no need to smash that planet now.
Yeah.
You can, of course, turn the engines off.
Oh,
There we go.
God. There he goes. Yowza. No pain, no gain, and that commander in orbit is moving back to his original base on asteroid. You what, mate?
Gonna go for solo rush. To be fair, this might be the last thing they expect.
Rambo Comet. Apparently we're supposed to be blaming Dom.
for
Yeah.
this. Okay. The Dom in chat.
Everyone point
Shout
and
at him.
groan. Dom.
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 I wanted to YOLO my comment to enemy hands. Cool.
But yes, that is
Ooh.
the game 2 Voices of War.
Yep. Yeah, I think we'll call it. No point in watching this. So we're going to call that game. We are going to have another game between Voices of War and Burning. This time we'll be playing on Burning's home system. There goes the commander, and there goes the commander.
Times 2. Ouch. I think they just wanted to make a statement there. Like some fireworks over their original base or something, I don't know.
I guess. It did look nice in the night sky.
Yes.
But congratulations, Voices of War. Take that first game. We will be rematching, this time on Burning's home system. Stay tuned.
Right, so are we going to do a quick interview?
Sure.
Sure?
You're the boss, Marshall.
I'm the boss. I'm the boss. Boss says get me scones.
I'll get my own that.
Right, so let's talk to Burning, I think.
My chronic hand's broken, so we're not going to be able to do that.
Oh, there, Psycho.
How you going?
How was that?
It was a bit disappointing, but I think it was a well-played match on both sides.
Hmm.
We just got outplayed in the start of it, which was a bit of a problem, but you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. I know the guys on the moon were having a lot of problems with the pelters from VoW.
Pelters is something we don't see too often in competitive play, but
No, that's very true.
in that situation, he wasn't under a huge amount of pressure, and he managed to get out one pelter, and then he kept that pressure on and got out a second pelter, and then it was very difficult to actually deal with and try and assault that area.
That's exactly what the guys on the moon were saying. Other than that, I think we just got outplayed.
Yeah, it was actually relatively even. I think you were just a little bit behind. They were very aggressive on the desert planet and the moon planet, and they were just sort of a little bit ahead in all the confrontations. Eventually, it looked like they managed to win it out of attrition.
Yes, I think that's probably true.
Still a good fight though.
Oh, it was a good fight. See how we go on in the next one.
Yeah, well, this is your home system, right? So
yeah, we do have a history of winning on our home system, but we'll see how we go.
Good. Any new tactics bringing out today, or?
I can't talk about that kind of stuff.
Ooh,
you guys know that.
Censored. Can't talk about it.
Nah.
Maybe not. Can't confirm.
Who knows?
No comment. Okay. Stuff. Well,
Alright.
we'll see what you bring up in the next game. Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Should we talk to Cryo as well while they get the lobby up?
Yep.
Hi there, Cryo. How was that?
It was okay, I think. I didn't see a lot since I only played on the moon, but I think it was a good game.
Were there many laughs had when you just had a sort of four-way comboxing on the moon there?
Yeah, it was interesting. It felt like Forged Alliance.
Yeah, you did nice of locking down all the planets in the orbit as well. The moment you went into orbit, you just went everywhere rather than just going to one place and contesting burning.
We shared the tasks quickly from the beginning, and so we could go everywhere. And now we will have a rematch on a similar system, so we will see how it works out.
Yeah. Well, you guys seem pretty comfortable in orbital games, I must admit. Even playing with some of your folks casually, they seem to have a pretty good handle on the orbital stuff.
Yeah, it's because most of us only play big games, and we suck on small planets.
By the way, have you experimented with the new PTE on the horizon?
No, I didn't have time last weeks at all, so I always wait until it's released.
Apparently they've put a lot of eco changes to the commander in the early game, which should
yeah, I've
spice
read
things
it.
up.
I don't know. We will see. For me, it seemed first like it would slow down the early game.
So going into this game, do you have any particular plans? So colonize planets early, or conquer your starting planets early, or?
Yeah, I think that you have to do both. If you stay too long on your starting planet, you have it, but then you lack the echo of the gas or something.
Yeah.
But if you go too fast and you lose the starting planet too early, then you also don't have the echo to build something up. So, since it's a 4v4, you can split these tasks, and that's what you should do.
Yeah, that's the thing about team games in PA. They're much more dynamic than 1v1s, I find. Much more enjoyable.
No. Well, it's very different to each other and still both part of the game.
Yes. Although 1v1 orbital games can be quite tricky to keep up with once you get all over the place.
Yeah. For 1v1, if you play it in a big system, you need really a plan how to spend your attention.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I'll let you get on and confer with your teammates about this upcoming game.
Yeah.
Thank you for stopping by.
Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you.